The state of Texas is fighting back again against the Biden administration for its unlawful practices. This time, it's the Equal Employment Opportunity Commission and the DOJ that's feeling the wrath of AG Ken Paxton's office. It's all in regards to their so-called transgender policies that they're looking to implement, of course, and force onto both private and state-owned companies. And ultimately, what they're looking to do is redefine the word discrimination. It's actually going to make it a little bit broader, which would open up a lot of companies for potential lawsuits in regards to their transgender employees. Now, specifically, what they're looking to do is force employers to use their so-called preferred pronouns, allow biological men to enter women facilities, and abolish, those dress codes that are specifically meant for both men and for women. It's absurd, but it's not really surprising, of course. We talk about it on this show all the time. The Biden administration is completely out of control. Joining me to discuss is Texas Attorney General Ken Paxton. AG Paxton, thank you for jumping on with us. This lawsuit is really important because it will protect, potentially, companies in the state of Texas, because this shouldn't be happening. The federal government shouldn't be doing this. So let us kind of detail us and walk us through this lawsuit a little bit. And what was the most egregious parts that you found so far that they're looking to implement and force onto employers?
It's not just corporations and companies. This would also affect the state of Texas. It would force states into this regime where the Biden administration has come along and they've literally just rewritten federal law. And that's probably the most egregious thing that we have going here. We have an administration that has decided that instead of letting Congress do their job, which Title VII was passed by Congress, they're going to rewrite it, and we're going to have one guy, Joe Biden, tell us that those laws are changed, and now we have a broader definition of discrimination that radically changes the workplace and forces upon companies and upon states this idea that all of these things related to transgender have to be adopted, or you've now violated federal law. That's just wrong, and it's certainly not the way our country was set up.
Yeah, and it seems like they've been able to get away with doing this, and a lot of states not pushing back. But AG Paxton, you have been pushing back for quite some time on things like this. The Biden administration has put out. I think you've actually filed the most lawsuits out of any attorney general in the country. Why is it that you think it's so important to push back in these ways?
Well, look, if we don't push back, if we let Joe Biden take over things like this, whether it's immigration or this or policies related to anything, and they're not passed by Congress, then we are moving away from a constitutional government. We now have one person deciding what is going to happen to us, or a group of a few people. That's not this country. This country is governed by the people, the elected representatives, and not one person. A lot of countries are. Most countries have made that decision. They have dictators, they have kings. We don't have that. We're controlled by the people. And if we don't stop Joe Biden, this country is going to be remade. And it's not just about transgender policies, it's about everything. It's about the way we're going to be governed. And I'm convinced if we don't fight back now, we're going to lose that ability.
Yeah, and that's what's so concerning about all of this. And you're not only just going after the Biden administration and making sure that they stay in line, but you're also pushing back when it comes to those companies that are stealing the data of Texans. You just recently filed a lawsuit against General Motors because, and it's surprising for most, but I keep flagging this for so many Americans, that the majority of car manufacturers are taking your data and selling it to other sources, whether it's insurance companies, whether it's maps, or all these crazy apps that we have now on our phones. They're selling your data. So you've just filed this lawsuit against GM. Why are you starting off with GM, and what are you seeing that they're doing with the data that's so concerning?
Well, you got to start somewhere, and GM is an egregious violator of our state law. They have an obligation, if they're going to take your data, if they're going to track where you're driving, they're going to track whether you're wearing your seatbelt, and they're going to track how fast you're driving, and they're going to track whether you're braking too hard or you're turning too hard. Those things need to be disclosed to the consumer, and they're not being. They get people to come on and sign up for this stuff, but they don't disclose what they're going to be reporting. And then they sell that data to companies, insurance companies, and those insurance companies then rate people differently, and they lose their insurance, or they end up paying more for it. And the consumer has no idea that this is happening. They're not being paid for it, and there's no consent being given, and there's no disclosure being given. Under Texas law, that's a deceptive trade practice, and it's my job to hold them accountable for that.
Yeah, and there's so many car manufacturers who are doing this now, and it's so difficult to get them to stop. They don't make it easy, and it's upsetting, but we've been covering that too. They're able to get away with it. Even some cars are actually taking your biometrics when they shouldn't be, and it's your data, and they should not be allowed to sell it, especially when you purchase the car. So it's absurd in itself. But Attorney General Ken Paxton, I want to thank you for your time and thank you for pushing back because a lot of people are afraid to do just that because the lawfare tactics are out of control right now under the Biden administration. So we're very grateful that you're still a fighter and you're still upholding those great Texan values. So thank you.
Well, thanks for having me on, and we are going to continue to fight the Biden administration. We are going to fight these car manufacturers because they're not the only ones doing it. It's not just GM. We're going to hold them accountable because it's not right for people to have this information taken from them and then it's used against them. So I guarantee you we will be doing more of this.
I love to hear that. Thank you so much. This is my favorite time of the show because I get to brag about a great sale going on right now over at mypillow.com. Let's head on over there right now because guess what? Mike Lindell has his $25 extravaganza going on. It is a great sale. It's not going to last forever, of course. So make sure you head over to mypillow.com. Use promo code BRE. That's promo code BRE. You're going to save up to 66% off with that promo code. It is the best promo code to use over at mypillow.com. Take a look around. There are so many great items, especially those dog beds that are on sale right now for $25. These are some of the lowest prices I've seen thus far. So make sure when you head over there that you use promo code BRE, that's promo code BRE, to secure these great savings.